Hello class, today we're going to study a new topic which is author's craft. I want to begin the video telling you that during this week we are going to be developing a project in which you are going to show me all your abilities when you are writing, okay? So I know that you are going to become into good writers, so you need to focus on this. So you are going to be implementing different strategies and different skills so you can improve in your writing process. Well, as I mentioned, today's topic is author's craft. Author's craft, guys, is basically the different um, strategies or tools that you have to put into practice when you're writing. The first one is voice. What is that? I have some information here that I want to share with you. The author's craft that is voice, it is mainly how that author writes the reading, the story, the text, whatever you're doing. For example, let's imagine that you are creating a mystery story, and then the voice is how you're going to do the story, how you're going to make it sound for the readers. For example, it was late at night, and then as a reader you are also changing the voice, you are modeling something, and you say it was late at night when suddenly boom, bang, I heard a noise. It was coming from downstairs. As you can see, guys, when I say boom and bang, and you're reading that, and you're reading that, those are called vivid words that make the reader hear whatever the author writes in the story, okay? So you're going to be able to have all those details the author wants to communicate to you. The second one is mood. What am I going to be focusing in mood? If it is mystery, if it is a mystery story, if it is a fantasy story, or if it is an article. It can also be an anecdote. When you tell a personal story that has happened to you, okay? If you're talking about a mystery story, well, the vocabulary is going to be different than if you are using a fantasy story, because you know that in a fantasy story you use like adjectives and you create a setting that maybe is not real, because as I'm mentioning, it is fantasy story, okay? The next one is an anecdote. It can be, for example, while you were going to the school, or a story that happened to you. Sometimes during the class, I told you many stories about what happened to me when I was a little girl. So you can share an experience that happened to you in the past when you were younger, and that it would be an anecdote. Remember, in the different tools that you have to create a story, you can implement all those tools that I'm mentioning, so you are empowering your reading, and the reader is going to be really interested in whatever you wrote, so he wants to read it, okay? Next one is language. What do I mean by language? Obviously, guys, this is nothing new. This one has to do with the vocabulary that you're going to be using, with the vivid words, the ones that I mentioned. For example, we're going to study more about vivid words during the class, but here are some examples. When I say boom, wow, uh-oh, pop, oops, hello, or kapow. Those are expressions that help the reader understand how the action was done. For example, if I say, and boom, the kid jumped into the swimming pool. Come on, can that sentence express what really happened in that action? No. But if I say, boom, that kid jumped into the swimming pool, There is a huge difference. And also the reader, while is reading that selection, is imagining how the action happened. So that is going to be really helpful. The second one, guys, is, well, the last one actually is hyperbole. This one, I know you did a great job when we did last class activity, because I know that you understood this figure really well. This one, remember, is a figurative language part, okay? It's a figure of a speech, and this one helps the writer to create like an action, and it is exaggerating that action, okay? That's basically what you do with when you're using hyperbole, because you say, let's imagine that somebody was sitting next to me and by accident that person hit me, like, but it was an accident. So he just did something like this by accident. He or she was trying to check something inside his backpack or her backpack, and boom, that person hit me, and ouch, it's really hurting. Oh my God, I'm dying. When you exaggerate an action like I am doing it now, that's the use of hyperbole, okay? So the writer normally uses that to exaggerate something, to express something that is not really happening in that way that that person is communicating. So the reader is having fun. The reader is getting interested in what we are trying to convey to them as writers, okay? So class, that's basically what we're going to be studying during this week, author's craft. And as I mentioned before, author's craft is about the different tools that we have as writers to include in our writing, so we can empower that in the readers are going to be like really interested in what we wrote, and they will want to write it. Because if they found something like that's not interesting, like it doesn't call my attention, you're not going to feel interested in trying to read that selection. But if it includes, as I mentioned, the language, like vivid words, like if it is a mystery story, but it is about fantasy or an anecdote, that is going to call the reader's attention. Okay, class, I'm going to stop the video now. Please focus in all these details that I just mentioned and keep them in mind, so we're going to be putting them into practice this coming week. See you in classes. Bye-bye.